Hey everyone, David C. Anderson here, coming at you from the KnifeCenter, and just finished filming our latest knife AQ, and as mentioned in that episode, I've got some things to celebrate. Just finally got moved in to our new house, and it also happened to coincide with some new laws here in Virginia. That, caveat, of course, we're not lawyers, and this is not legal advice, but these laws mean that I should be able to carry a Switchblade now, as long as I don't conceal it. So you know what that means. It's time to buy a new knife. Thomas, let's go to the warehouse.
All right.
What I'm looking for today is an automatic knife that I'm actually going to want to carry every day. And Thomas is about to walk into this car right here, so that's fun. But what that means is, if it's a side opener, I'm looking for something that would appeal to me even if it wasn't an auto. And if it's an OTF, I don't want something double-edged. I want something that I think of anyway as more useful day to day. Seen some cool stuff over the years, so let's go pick out a few options here. This is one of the best rooms in the KnifeCenter, I gotta say. Because this is where most of the automatics are kept, or all the automatics actually. So that is really cool. Knives I love, the Adamas, the Presidio, the Osborne, all really great knives, but both available as a manual, and I don't want to go that way. Hey puppy. Actually, the only bummer here is we don't have any shootouts. People have bought all the shootouts before I could get one. Oh well, they're coming back. You guys know I love Hogue. Good stuff here. Let's see, yeah. Exploit Tonto, that's a good one. Can't forget about the Ballista either. Tonto or drop point for Ballista?
Reverse on.
Drop point in blue, of course. Let's go with those. The Kershaw Launch series, have to love it. I actually have a Launch 1, which I enjoy very much. Let's see, let's pull one of those out, just for an example. Here, launchy, launchy, launchy. All right, Microtech. Now, I have an Exocet, which I actually think makes a fantastic little EDC. But since I already have one, I gotta buy something different, don't I? Let's see, we gotta talk about Ultratechs, I think. That's what we need. Ooh, we got a bayonet bladed Ultratech in red. That'll be cool. Oh, Thomas found it. There we go. Let's see. Gotta get a ProTech in here. Yes. TR3. Excellent. I really like the SOG-TACs. Those came out really nice. Is this what I want? Black thread. Yes, it is. All right, all right. Manticore. And let me see. Yes, we have a Medusa. Very cool, very cool. Gotta have a Guardian Tactical. Perfect. LMAX, Desert Tan, single edge blade. All right, let's go open these up. All right, I've got 13 knives here to pick from, but I'm gonna try to narrow them down a little bit as we go through here, and then I'm gonna have you folks vote at the end which one you think I'm gonna buy. Anyway, let's get into it. Here at the front, here's two that I already have back at home. I've got a blue-handled version of the Launch 1, which is a fantastic knife. And there's a lot of good stuff in the entire Launch series, but I really like the blade shape on this. And I'll say if you're just now getting into autos and you're willing to spend a little bit of money but don't want to get too deep into it just to see what things are all about, you can't go wrong with the Launch series. I mean, this one right here is 110 bucks. You got CPM 154 steel, the powder metal version of 154 CM. That's great. Aluminum handles, push button action that is right up there with some of the best in the business that we're gonna look at here in a minute too. So you're not even giving anything up. You're not sacrificing anything for the budget price point. Really cool. But I already have in my opinion, the best Launch knife, which was the Launch 1. So I'm not gonna buy another Launch. Likewise, I have an Exocet, which despite its small size, I still think is a great everyday carry, smaller OTF, because you have that money clip design that gives you a very wide handle. And I think that Tonto blade is actually really useful as a smaller utility. The action's really good too. M390 steel, $277. You see what I mean here? I mean, granted, OTFs are more complicated and more expensive than side openers typically, but be that as it may. All right, so taking those two out, like I said, I've got 13, and I've already made a couple of decisions, but I'm gonna kind of work my way through the rest. I'm gonna start with a knife that I'm not gonna buy for this, this particular purchase, and that's the 112 Elite Automatic from Buck. It's a really cool knife. I happen to really fancy this knife, but I don't think it's right for what I'm looking for right now. S30V blade, steel, 230 bucks on these. It is the Ranger, and that is why, that is both why it is awesome, and it's also why I'm not gonna go with it. No pocket clip here. You're dealing with a belt carry in this case. That's not really my thing for a knife like this. And the other quote unquote problem I have with it is the push button action is fantastic, but I'm so used to trying to unlock a push button auto by pushing the button there that I feel like it's constantly gonna trip me up rather than going to the lock back and closing it that way. Really cool little snippy action going on though, but that's not what I'm gonna buy. First up, or next up I should say, Microtech TR3. Really cool knife. It has got a fantastic blade shape. All of these side opening automatics we're gonna look at now I think have blade shapes I'd be perfectly happy with on any non-automatic too. Just versatile drop points. In this case, we've got Magna Cut steel on this one. Very cool. With kind of a, we'll call that a high saber grind there. Flat geometry on this, not hollow. Just very cool. And Microtech, I've always said, has that signature sound. You can immediately tell that's a Microtech. And you got a secondary safety switch that works open or closed as well. Not all Microtechs have that. And the fish scale on the aluminum here. So that's pretty cool. And this one is definitely in the running. So we'll have that one for consideration. Blade on that's like 3 3/8 of an inch. A little bit more blade length technically, but not quite as much sharpened edge. Hogue. I'm a big Hogue fan. I've said it before. You folks know it. This is the Ballista, new for this year. We've got a 154 cm blade, 161 and some change. That really gets into where, as I mentioned, the Launch series really is a fantastic value because you get a little bit more with those in terms of the materials. You've got CPM 154 for less money. It's pretty cool, but Hogue is doing great stuff. This is nice. Aluminum handles, black or blue at this point, stone-washed finish, same as that Microtech, which is my favorite finish for a everyday carry knife. I like that. It's nice and comfortable. You can choke up on it to get finer control over that flat ground drop point blade action. Quite good. And the secondary switch as well. So that's definitely in the running. All right, next up is another Hogue made knife. This one they make for Boker. This is the Karakurt, which is a Jesper Vaknes design. Price on this, about $231. 154 cm blade here as well. The length is just over 3 inches. High flat grind again, or slightly higher flat grind, I should say, and aluminum handles. That's kind of a almost a standard in a way for a lot of things. When it comes to side opening automatics, you're going to see a lot of aluminum, and you're going to see a lot of 154 cm. It's starting to change a little bit now, the last year or two, but it kind of became a de facto for a little while. But interesting. So I'm making a decision right here. Both of these last two knives are made by Hogue. Actually, they both say Hogue on the blades themselves. But compared to the Ballista, I think this Karakurt, for my hands, which are slightly larger than average, it doesn't quite fit my hand as nicely as the Ballista does. The Ballista is also less money, and you have a longer blade length. Sharpened edge, you have a little bit more with the Karakurts on the sharpened edge itself, but you have a little bit more reach, technically, with the Ballista. Both of them built super well, obviously, but I'm gonna knock the Karakurt out of consideration right here. Let's take it off the table, actually. If we've eliminated them, let's actually get them off the table. Thomas, you'll have to figure out where they go later when you're filming your B-roll.
Oh, fun.
The Buck's out, the Boker's out for now. I got two Benchmades now. First is the new for this year plain edged Claymore. happy to see that. 207 for these. Grivery handles, so fairly lightweight for a side opening auto. I mean, we're looking at 3.5 ounces, not bad, for 3.6 inches of blade length, and we've got CPM D2. Really nice. But we've got a coating on this blade. I believe it's DLC, if I'm remembering correctly, and good feel in the hand. Like the ergos, you got a bit of a thumb ramp there. That might knock it out. For EDC, I might like something, I won't go that far yet. Safety switch, super snappy action. That works really well. And then, of course, the close. It's a little more deliberate on this one. That's really satisfying, though. It's got the right kind of blade, drop point, high flat grind, CPM D2, which is really nice. But I'm also looking at the CLA. 154 cm blade on this, 3.4 inches, 234 for this knife with the G10 handle. This is a tidy little side opener. We've got the flat ground blade, 3.4 inch drop point, like that. The handle works really nicely. It's comfortable, it's nimble, moves around really nicely. Closes really easily, actually. And what I mean by that is you're not fighting the spring so much to close that blade. It's really nice. And for that reason, actually between these two, the Claymore definitely has the more stout opening action, but you're fighting that spring a bit more on the close. So between the two, I think I would enjoy the CLA more day to day. So Claymore's out. Put that over there. All right, next up, we have the Heretic Medusa. Really cool knives here. $370, aluminum handles with traction inlays and an L-Max blade. Very nice blade, just over 3 inches. This is the Tonto shape, but it's not so Tonto-y that it is too Tonto-y. This is more, behaves a bit more like a drop point in your day-to-day use, I would say.
It's a drop toe.
It's a drop toe blade, perhaps. Sounds better than Tanop.
Debatable.
Tanrop. Let us know in the comments. This is cool. This is one of those kind of like big little knives in a way. It's fairly stout, fairly compact, I mean, but the stoutness of it kind of makes you feel like you've got more to work with. Side button auto. Seen already. I like it. The action is nice. I love the shape. It's gonna be very useful. The close on this one, I don't know. It might be, everyone's hands are different, but this might be just a peculiarity of my hand size here. That's a little fiddly for me to close. That right there, there's enough other good things on the table. This is certainly one of them, but because that doesn't fit me quite right, we're gonna put that one out as well. One more side opener, and then we'll get to the OTFs. I like this knife, the SOG-TAC AU. Price on this is about $150. 3.4 inch D2 blade, and this is gonna be one of those very easy knives to carry. The aluminum handle's nice and slim. Pocket clip is not deep carry, but it is folded over, but you've got a decent amount to still get in there and grab. The blade, let's see, before I make a declaration, might be one of my favorite blade shapes on the table. Is definitely one of my favorite blade shapes on the table, not just the shape, but the overall geometry. In a way, it reminds me a lot of my Launch 1 because we got a full flat grind here and it's nice and thin. That is just a fantastic little slicer. Straight clip point in this case. And you've got their automatic version of their essentially XR lock. Actually, functionally, yeah, they are calling it their AU XR lock. So it should be that crossbar. Yep, I can see it right there. The cool thing about it is they give you a secondary safety, but it's built in to that actual auto opening switch. I can push that forward and that gives you a little bit of safety. Keeps it from being pulled out. And actually, it won't pull out in the firing stage either, but it gives you 2 stages to pull through to open it if you push it forward. You don't have to. You can leave it just in that, primed stage, so to speak, and then it'll open quite nicely. Or you can push it all the way forward and just pull more deliberately to get it to go. This one also closes really easily, probably definitely the easiest closing side opener we've looked at so far. So that's interesting. I think the SOG, or sorry, yeah, the SOG and the Benchmade, all four of these I think are still in contention, but the SOG and the Benchmade are, I think, a little bit ahead of the other two. And I think it's, in my mind right now, it's down to the ease of closing on them. Yeah, that's hard to overlook. That's really nice. But those four are definitely in contention. We'll go with those. Now we move to OTFs. And the problem with OTFs, as I see them anyway, is most of them are more tactical. They're maybe less EDC-ish. That's why you see a lot of double-edged blades. And in fact, in my eagerness over at the warehouse, I grabbed this bayonet-bladed Ultratech from Microtech right here, forgetting that these are double-edged as well. The reason I forgot is most of the double-edged OTFs you see, you'll see that edge on the spine going all the way back to the handle, and this one, I don't know, in my mind I was like, ooh, they've just got a big swedge on them. So that one's out.
Kind of a swedge.
Well, it is, but it's also sharpened, so.
It's a sharpened swedge.
It's a very nice knife, but I don't want to deal with the double edge for my EDC. So this is out, even though it wasn't on the table here when we started. But I do have a standard Ultratech here. Black handle, 310. I was really excited about that red because so many knives are black these days. I always like seeing more color into play, and most of these OTFs are kind of black too. But it's hard to argue with Microtech. They're kind of the the de facto leader of this genre, and rightfully so. Action is really good. The Ultratech is the one I would carry. I do like the Combat Troodon, and you can get some very useful blades on those, but man, I don't want to go that chunky for this particular purchase. Very nice, 310 for this one. I do have a Manticore S here, and again, in my eagerness over there at the warehouse, I don't think I want something quite this small for this purchase. It's a nice knife, very nice knife, but the only full-size Manticores we have in stock right now are double-edged. So this one's out. We'll take that off the table. Man, like, Heretic's getting kind of the short end of the stick here. Not intentionally, sorry. They make very good knives. Now we come to a Hogue. Two Hogues, actually, and I want to talk about them together. I've got the Exploit right here, comes in about 272, aluminum handles, S30V blades. So a nice little step up from the 154 CMs you see a lot. Actually, this Ultratech has M390, so even more of an upgrade there. And then I also really like the Compound. Both of these knives have a clip point and a tanto blade. In fact, they may or may not even be interchangeable. I'm not sure about that. But profile-wise, they're pretty much identical, if not the exact same. Aluminum frame on the Exploit, aluminum internals and G10 frame, or G10 covers, if you want to call it that, on the Compound. And holding the two side by side, I think the Compound's definitely going to pull away here. It just feels a little better in my hand than a slightly more abstract Exploit handle. So the Exploit is out. Put that over there. The Compound is really nice. Stonewash finish. Stonewash finish on that Microtech too. Action, very good. Hogue's factory edges too are hard to argue with. I mean, check out the polish and the refinement on that. That's a really cool clip point shape too. Last but not least, Guardian Tactical. And I really like their Recon 35. It's a little smaller than the 40 and a little more friendly to what I would probably want to carry here. I love their action and I love their switch. You know, that's the thing you're interfacing the most with on any of these knives, is not just the handle and how it holds, but the actuation. And that switch itself is buttery. The asymmetrical style works really well with my fingers, at least. It's just excellent. Elmax steel, 289 on this one, and a little bit of color too. There's some brighter colors, in fact, if you want those. Like I said, 3 3/8 of an inch long. The Elmax is great. It's definitely some style, even though this is just, quote unquote, just a drop point. A bit thicker. Actually, it's even thicker than that Microtech we looked at earlier, which in itself is not crazy thick. but the grind is also not crazy high either. The Hogue is definitely the slicing winner in this particular 3-knife matchup that's left. Oh, that might be a little too chunky for me, but I do like that. I really do like that switch. Well, should I eliminate anything else at this point? That is the question. You know what? Let's do it. Let's pare it down a little bit. I'm going to take the TR3 and the Ballista out of consideration. Not because I don't like them and not because they're not worthy, but I like how the Benchmade and the SOG close more easily for day-to-day carry. Let's get this Launch and this Exocet also out of the picture, since I already own those after all. All right, ProTech, you're out. Sorry, Dave. Hogue, you're out. Sorry, Jim. Actually, there's a Hogue still on the table, so. Benchmade and SOG, let's see, for the side openers. For the OTFs, let me eliminate one here. The Hogue is definitely in, because it's the sliciest. The Ultratech feels nice. You know, similarly to the side openers, the way you open and close the knife is going to be, you know, a big part of how you experience these blades, and not, you know, that's right up there with how the blades actually perform. And operating these two knives side by side, the Guardian Tactical is just so much more comfortable to me. The Microtech switch is more aggressive. It has, you know, bitier ridges, which is a really good thing if you want to make sure, absolutely sure, you're going to get that blade out without your finger slipping. But for the sake of keeping this to a narrower decision, I'm gonna take the Microtech out, I think. So we're down to 4. We've got the Benchmade CLA, we've got the SOG-TAC AU, the Hogue Compound clip point, and the Guardian Tactical Recon 35 drop point. I'm not gonna pick here on the video. This is where we're gonna leave a poll down in the description box here, or at least a link to one. Figure out the technical details later.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Started off this video talking about last week's knife AQ. I'll reveal which one of these knives I wind up going with in the next knife AQ. By the time that rolls around, I will have paid my hard-earned dollars for one of these knives. In the meantime, vote in the poll which one you think I should get. Well, should it be which one they think I should get, or which one they think I did get, or will have gotten by the time it rolls around? Probably that.
However they want to vote.
Guess what you think I'm gonna buy in the poll. Down there. You'll find it somehow in that description box. In the meantime, links for these knives, you can find them in the description if you are interested in getting your hands on them. That'll take you over to our website. And don't forget, we've got our Knife Rewards program, because if you're gonna buy one of these knives, as I always say, you might as well be earning some free money to spend on your next one. I'm David C. Anderson from the KnifeCenter. That's Thomas behind the camera. We're signing off. See you next time.